All right, I'm ready.
Well, what's it like having Russell back out there?
Just being able to have Russ back out there, I think it's really good for us. Obviously, we've been without him for 3 weeks and then a bye week, but I mean, ever since he's came back, I mean, it's not like he's missed a beat mentally or anything like that. He's still doing all the things that needs to be done so he can continue to be his best self. But when it comes to sometimes when you're out, you don't really, the plays kind of get to messing with you a little bit and the schemes and all that. And I mean, it looks like he never left, when it comes to that. But that's just how mentally strong he is when it comes to he had to sit out, but he still was making sure that he was listening to the plays, going through his imaginations and going through his reads and all that stuff as if he was preparing to play. So it helps him out in the end of the day.
Does the ball look the same coming out of his hand? And can you tell any issues with the finger at all?
I mean, that's something that me personally I'm not paying attention to. I didn't really catch the ball a lot yesterday, so I didn't really get to see it. But I mean, I'm sure if Russ is gonna feel great, then I mean, I don't think he'll put himself in a position where if he's not ready, he's not gonna go out there. I think if he's ready, then he feels comfortable in all those different type of aspects and questions that people would have.
On the topic of players getting back out there, you have Eskridge out there too. Obviously, he only got to play in the one game. Just how good is it to see him, and what has he shown you guys?
Oh, it's great for him to be back. I mean, just with him dealing with all the stuff he's dealt with, things could have been, worse than it could have been or just whatever the case. So just for him being able to come back, being able to practice, kind of get adjusted to everything again, didn't really do a lot of OTAs, finally came back and we got to see glimpses of how great that he can be and, the reasons why we drafted him. And then just having that setback, I mean, it sucks, especially when you're a player who can understand what setbacks can do. You know what I mean? So being able to see him back, I know that it has to give him like a sense of a happiness, being able to be around us again, being able to be around the facility, being able to show his explosiveness and all the reasons of why we drafted him. So, I'm happy that he's back and just being able to get him going.
When you look at this Packers secondary, they've been a little bit beat up. They get Kevin King back this week. What are you seeing from them? Because they're not allowing a lot of deep plays down the field.
Yeah, I mean, they have a really good defense. They play the same like the Rams do. I mean, they play the way that I played when I was at K-State. We ran the same entire defense. And so, I mean, yeah, they have a really great defense. And, when you play a defense like that, you can't just go explosive plays after explosive plays. Like, defenses like that, you got to work your way down the field. And you got to know when to take your shots and all that type of stuff. I'm speaking because I seen it at K-State. Like, that's why we won so many games, because teams would score on the first drive, and then they'll try to go deep after that. And it was like, nope, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. So, no, but it's starting to become really popular, the defenses that's being played. And, you see the Rams are really great at it. You see the Packers are really, really great at it. And they pick and choose how they want to play teams each and every week. So sometimes they limit the explosive plays. Sometimes they'll give up the explosive plays, but it's the front seven that gets to the quarterback, fast enough. So, I mean, we don't really know what their game plan is going to be, but we know that we're going against a great defense, and we just got to make sure that we're on our P's and Q's, and we got to make sure we're great on third downs first and foremost, and just being able to move the chains and being able to do what we need to do to honestly be able to come out with a win.
Does that take a mentality shift as a wide receiver if you're looking for short yardage versus explosives down the field?
No, I mean, I think that's football in general. I think every team tries to be able to go short to long, and sometimes we end up going long to short. So I'm not saying that going into the game, like, this is what you're going to do. I'm just saying that I was speaking from K-State experience of just watching what teams would do. But like as a receiver, I mean, you got to know how to be a possessional receiver. You got to know when to get yards after the catch. You got to know when to go down, when to go out of bounds. So you got to be able to prepare yourself for each and every moment, because the game situations will turn you into whatever the receiver it is that you need to be.
When
when Russ was on the sidelines, he was deeply involved in the game, talking to people all the time. Was there ever a time when it got so intense that you say, hey, Russ, we got this?
Oh, no, because if you ever watch me out there in the game, I'm sitting by myself. And I mean, I've just always done that ever since college. Like, that's my reset. I go sit by myself. I watch the game by myself unless people come sit by me. I think to myself. I scout by myself. Like, I'm doing everything by myself, honestly. So when it comes to the game, like, I try not to listen to too much of, like, what people say because I've taken the whole week to prepare myself for what needed to be done going into that week. And so if there's anything that, is coming to me or if there's anything that I'm bringing to other people, it's going to be the adjustments or the things that I see on the field. But as far as like the game plan, like that's already like stuck with me because I've chosen how I was going to play going into the week.
The way the Rams play you guys, like that whole stop the explosives first, back in forward, is that something you started to see more of last year when you guys were passing more on earlier downs?
Nah, they weren't playing the same defenses, but I mean, teams were just kind of putting everybody back and just, making you have to show us that you can throw short passes. Like, we didn't really throw a lot of short passes and stuff like that last year, and so teams started playing within the ranges that we were throwing the ball at, and that's why sometimes it was hard for us to move up the field because teams would play differently than what we see them play during games. So you had to learn how to scout during the game rather than going into the week. So for us, I think we've shown a lot of different aspects of how we play. We've shown that we'll run the ball no matter what. Even when we were down versus Pittsburgh, we ran the ball. We've shown that we'll go short and go, play short the whole entire game, and we'll pick and choose our chances. We've shown that the first couple plays against New Orleans that we'll go deep the first play. So, like, we've shown that we'll adjust to what teams give us, but it's not a matter of do we start off short and go long, or do we go longer short, or do we run the ball. It's just a matter of being able to find that comfort zone or that comfort level as we start progressing into the game.
Before the season started, you guys were really high on Shane's offense, kind of like intellectual, high-powered, all this stuff, the tempo. Has all that come to fruition during the season, the way you guys anticipated in the preseason?
Yeah, I mean, there's times where, defenses have done a great job at being able to stop us to where we weren't able to get things going, whether it was third down or, I think we were all able to see glimpses of it in games, and then all of a sudden in the third quarter we slowed down, and that's something that we struggled with the first couple of games. Then all of a sudden we started getting things going again, but the explosiveness and the plays and all the stuff that we know that it could be and that it's showing us that it could be, it's all based off of can we get the third downs. If we're able to get those third downs, you're able to see more of the plays and more ways that give everybody a chance to get the ball. And so I think when we played Jacksonville, being able to get those third downs, it made everybody able to see, like, okay, they can be a balanced team. They can do this right. They can do that right. But when you're not getting third downs, it's hard to be able to see, like, exactly what the offense looks like as we see it in practice every single day because we're running plays out there. But when you're not getting a third down and you got to sit back down, if you're out sitting down for 10, 15 plays, or if it's then it's hard to get back in the rhythm. But if the defense gets a 3 and out or whatever and you're back on the field, now you're able to see what the offense can do when you got the ball in your hands.
3 and 5 is obviously not something you're used to and not where this team wants to be, but you're coming off a good win. You're getting some guys back after the bye. What's kind of the mindset of this team going in the second half?
Yeah, well, I mean, my rookie year we were 3 and 5, so I remember that. And we won a whole bunch of games after that and went straight to the playoffs. So, I mean, we're still sitting at 3 and 5, and they added an extra game. So for us, I mean, we're exactly where we need to be. You look at the playoff hunt, people 4 and 4, 4 and 5, 3 and 5, 3 and 6. So I mean, we're exactly where we need to be at. Everything is still on us. It's not like we're sitting here having to depend on people to lose and this team to beat this team. Like, I mean, it's cool if it does work out that way, but we still know that, like, destiny is still in our hands. We can still go out there and play because we don't need other people to do what needs to be done in order for us to win and be successful. We still have control to be the team that we want to be. And so even though the record says that we're 3-5, we know that, based off our performances, based off of what we've done as a team, our record should be way better than that. And so we're not gonna mope around and feel some type of way just because we're 3-5. Like, we know we could have easily been 6-1 or 6-2 or 7-1, whatever the case is. But it didn't work out that way. And it wasn't like we weren't in every single game. We were winning almost every single game, if not up by 2 possessions. So for us, it's not whether or not we can turn things around. It's, can we be consistent at playing 4 quarters?
For a receiver, what's the adjustment like when you go from one quarterback to another? Is it more about like the timing or the way the ball arrives or anything like that?
Everything varies. It depends on the quarterbacks that you have, and like I said, it takes time being able to get adjusted to quarterbacks. And if you haven't had off seasons with all the quarterbacks, or if you only had off season with one, if one goes down and another comes up, if you haven't had that chemistry, you have to be able to build that chemistry as fast as you possibly can. Obviously, everybody can throw the ball to a person, but being able to know how a person thinks, what they see, how they see it, how they position the ball, how you position yourself as a receiver, like, those are conversations that sometimes come as time goes. But when you lose somebody, you don't have that much time. So you got to try to be able to communicate as much as you can, because not everybody throws the ball the same. Not everybody positions the ball the same. And so you got to be able to understand all that type of stuff so that you can learn how to be able to still play your game but adapt in a way that helps both of you all be successful. And so, just from going to Geno to Russ, I mean, we've played with Russ for who knows how long. So it's easier to adjust because we've been with Russ for a long time. But we had to learn how to make adjustments the more that I got the opportunity to throw with Geno, because I never got the opportunity to throw with him as much like that. But the more and more that we got the opportunity to throw, the more the chemistry that we were able to see as we continued to play together.
Quandre's an underrated free safety.
Oh, yeah. I've been knowing Quandre for so long. Like, I feel like he's an underrated safety for sure. But what people forget when it comes to Quandre is the fact that he started off as a nickel, was a really good nickel. Then he went and then he played free safety and all that. But he could play every position. It's not too many people in the game that can play every single position. He could play corner on the outside too. That's exactly what he did in college before a team decided to put him in nickel. So the fact that you can see him play free safety, strong safety, nickel, and cornerback, I mean, it's not too many people that could do that. So that's why I feel like he's underrated in general, not just in a position, but just when I think about Quandre, I just think he's a football player. And it's not, I'm not saying it's not too many people you can say that, but it's just, if you put him in whatever position, I just truly believe he's going to ball.
Outside corner when you guys played them in college?
Yeah, he played nickel one time. But he started at corner his rookie year. So, they put him wherever it is that they need to put him. But, honestly, man, I think the biggest thing is, and, I can relate to it too, is, we might not be the prototype of what something looks like. And because you're not, you don't get the love, you don't get none of that type of stuff. But, at the end of the day, as long as you know the type of player that you are, that's all that matters. And as long as the people around you see it, that's all that matters. But really, it's about how you see yourself. So they might never give him the credit that he deserves. But you see he was in the top 100 for a reason, because it doesn't matter the size. It doesn't matter any of that type of stuff. But that's what happens when the draft time comes around. That's what happens when all this stuff comes around, is look at the size of his hands. Look at how tall he is. Look at his length. Look at the speed. Look at all this other stuff. And people fall in love with what it could look like, but they don't fall in love with the player. And sometimes teams take a chance and they get somebody like a Quandre, or they get somebody like other people that we call underrated, and then all of a sudden they see them as a football player and they see how reliable they are and how consistent they are, and all of a sudden people say, oh, they got away with this. Like, they found a diamond in the rough. It's like, no, they found a football player. They didn't find the the thing that looks good on paper. They found somebody that could really play. So, I mean, that's how I feel about Quandre. That's my dog.
Big catch on him in the here?
You got to ask him. You can't ask me that. Nah, I mean, you know, we was going back and forth. You know, they beat us our junior year. We turned around and beat them our senior year. So, but yeah, we weren't the best of friends when we played our junior year. And then we became somehow best friends playing our senior year.
It just became official that Odell Beckham signed with the Rams. What do you think about him joining the division?
You know, that's cool if that's what he wanted to do. I mean, not everybody gets a chance to be a free agent, you know, and so just speaking as a person who hasn't experienced it, you know, for a lot of people, it's a blessing to get into free agency. You have the choice to be able to choose where you want to go, and you don't have to get caught up in teams saying, nope, we got your rights and this, and this. You get to go wherever you want to go. Luckily, I've been blessed to be a part of a great organization. And so even if I was free agent, like, shoot, I'm glad to be here. You know what I'm saying? So not everybody is as blessed to be put in positions that, you know, I hear players who have gone to other places, they come back and they tell you how it is, and you don't really understand how lucky and how blessed you are because you haven't seen what else is out there. And so sometimes you see problems and stuff that could be in-house, but you don't really see what it is because you ain't been at other people's grasses and to see what life is like over there. And so, I mean, like, he got to make his choice and stuff like that. So, you know, you got to shout him out for being able to make the best choice possible for him.
Thanks, Tyler.
All right.